morning and a very warm welcome. You are watching Janata Television and this is English Bulletin with me, Yutsa Bhatrai. The top stories first. NCP Standing Committee meeting postponed. Leaders unable to discuss new agendas due to standoff. Prime Minister holds meeting with close allies, charts out future strategy following demand for resignation. Protest against MCC continues. Protesters demand a waiver of house rent during lockdown. Putin likely to rule for the next 16 years. Russians back constitutional reform in landslide vote. And West Ham grabs a vital 3 points in the fight against a relegation. Defeats Chelsea 3-2 amidst VAR controversy. And now the news in detail. The Standing Committee meeting of the ruling Nepal Communist Party has been postponed until further notice. The meeting was postponed on the 5th day after 5 Standing Committee members presented their views. During yesterday's meeting, the leaders discussed the same agendas of the previous day, informed party spokesperson Narayan Kaji Shrestha.
आजको छलफलमा पनि हिजोकै एजेन्डामा छलफल जारी रहेको छ। त्यसमा आज 5 जना कमरेडहरूले आफ्नो विचार राख्नु भएको छ, जसमा कमरेड नन्दकुमार प्रसाई, कमरेड लीलामणि पोखरेल, कमरेड मातृका यादव, कमरेड पेशल खतिवडा र कमरेड योगेश भट्टराई।
The leaders presenting their views during yesterday's meeting were Nandakumar Prasai, Leelamani Pokhrel, Matrika Yadav, Peshal Khatioda and Yogesh Bhattrai. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli yesterday held discussions with ministers and close allies at his official residence in Balwatar. It has been learned that the Prime Minister called the meeting to chart out new strategies to run the government. The Prime Minister took such initiatives after co-chairman of the ruling Nepal Communist Party, Pushpa Kamal Dahal, demanded his resignation. Home Minister Ram Bahadur Thapa and Minister for Industry, Commerce and Supplies Lekhraj Bhatta were present during the meeting. However, Ministers Barshaman Poon, Giriraj Mani Pokhrel, Shakti Basnet and Bina Magar did not attend the meeting. On Tuesday, co-chairman Dahal had objected to Oli's statement that he was under pressure from India to resign. The tussle between the two co-chairmen altered the course of discussion in the Standing Committee meeting of NCP. Vital meetings of the party, including Central Committee meeting, Standing Committee meeting and Secretariat meeting, have not been able to take place on time. Prime Minister Oli has remained absent in these meetings time and again, often citing health reasons. This has largely disappointed the party leaders. Even the civil society is not happy with the internal rife within the ruling party during the coronavirus crisis. On the other hand, Prime Minister Oli is busy preparing future strategy, alleging that he has been condemned from all sides. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Oli visited a Shahid Gangalal National Heart Centre in Basbari for his heart checkup yesterday. According to Ramcharan Bajgai, Oli's communication advisor, Prime Minister Oli went to the hospital for a regular health checkup. The Prime Minister's health is normal, Bajgai added. Tourism Minister Yogesh Bhattrai has suggested Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli to move ahead addressing the concerns within the party. Prime Minister Oli met with few ministers and Standing Committee members of NCP yesterday morning to discuss the latest standoff within the party. The leaders unanimously recommended the Prime Minister to take initiative to resolve the existing crisis underlying within the party, Minister Bhattrai informed. Prime Minister Oli has been suggested to call the Secretariat meeting by postponing the Standing Committee meeting to reach a common understanding, Minister Bhattrai added. Minister Bhattarai also acknowledged that top party leaders had a fallout in Tuesday's standing committee meeting. Nepal Army yesterday sacked 2 of its high-ranking officials, citing offences related to discipline. Brigadier General Surendra Singh Rawal and Colonel Anil Kharka were relieved from their respective posts upon finding both officials guilty of defying the chain of command. Nepal Army's Summary General Court yesterday issued such decision after investigation. Both officers have been held guilty for knowingly defying written orders from their immediate commander. The trial and punishment has been based on Military Act 2063. The Army headquarters released a press statement yesterday informing that the organization maintains zero tolerance against anti-disciplinary policy. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back. We continue with other national news. Coronavirus has claimed one more life in the country. A person who died at Bayalpata Hospital in Assam some days ago tested positive for the disease. Health authorities confirmed yesterday that the sample of the deceased tested positive for coronavirus. With this, the death toll from coronavirus in the country has reached 30. The deceased is a 55-year-old man from Ramroshan municipality. The victim had died 4 days ago.
अछाम जिल्ला रामरोशन गाउँपालिका वडा नम्बर 5 का 45 वर्षीय एक पुरुषको मिति 2077 असार 14 गते बैलपाटा अस्पतालमा उपचारको क्रममा मृत्यु भएको छ। असार 13 गते 81 श्वास प्रश्वासमा समस्या आएपछि उहाँलाई उपचारका लागि बैलपाटा अस्पतालमा लगिएको थियो। उहाँ मधुमेहको बिरामी हुनुहुन्थ्यो। मृत्यु भएकै भोलिपल्ट उहाँको स्वाब सङ्कलन गरिएको थियो र असार 16 गते उहाँमा कोरोना संक्रमण पुष्टि भएको थियो।
Meanwhile, the number of coronavirus infection in the country has crossed 14,000 mark. 482 new cases were confirmed yesterday, taking the tally to 14,046. Out of the total infected persons, 1,774 are female, while 12,272 are male.
आज जम्मा 482 जना संक्रमित भेटिनु भएको छ। त्यसमध्ये 117 जना महिला र 365 जना पुरुष हुनुहुन्छ र आजसम्मको जम्मा 1774 महिला र 12272 पुरुष गरी जम्मा 14046 हुनुहुन्छ।
So far, the government has conducted more than 233,000 tests through PCR method. Likewise, the number of rapid diagnostic tests stands at 300,620, according to the spokesperson at the Health Ministry, Dr. Jageshwar Gautam. At present, over 48,000 persons are kept in quarantine across the country. Similarly, 9,360 persons are undergoing treatment in isolation. According to the ministry, altogether 4,656 persons have recovered from the disease so far. Protest was held at the Maitighar Mandala by the United National Civil Movement Preparatory Committee yesterday against MCC, corruption and lack of organization in the government. On Wednesday, various groups were involved in the protest at Maitighar Mandala in a joint civil awareness program organized by the United National Civil Movement Preparatory Committee 2077. The protesters demanded that the house rent be completely waived during the lockdown. They also protested against the rise in corruption, while also asking for a decrease in the interest rate on loans and EMIs and increase in the range of PCR tests.
त्यो अवस्थामा कोरोनाको चाहिँ सङ्कटको अवस्थामा सरकारले जसरी पनि हामी एमसिसी पारित गर्छौँ भनेर जनभावना विपरीत लागि परेका छौँ त्यसको विरुद्ध आज हामीले कार्यक्रम गरेका हौँ।
The committee has been conducting protests for a while on various issues, including scrapping of the MCC agreement. Supporters of the campaign Enough is Enough have come out on the streets of Baluwatar in protest. The protest at the Prime Minister's official residence in Baluwatar was a show of support to the people sitting in hunger strike in Patan. Youths in Patan have been staging a hunger strike since the past 6 days. The youths have demanded the need for 100% PCR test and complete transparency in all of the works of the government. On Wednesday, the protesters were holding various placards as a sign of protest. The police has, however, taken 12 protesters into custody, claiming that they were protesting in restricted areas. The Central Working Committee meeting of Nepali Congress has been postponed until coming Sunday. Passing a condolence resolution upon the demise of NC lawmaker Gyan Kumari Chantyal yesterday, NC decided to call the next meeting on Sunday. The central office of Nepali Congress at Sanipa will also remain closed today. NC further informed. The Nepali Congress has also decided to lower the party's flag half-mast today and will not hold any formal programs. Nepali Congress's Central Working Committee meeting began last Tuesday and has been discussing agendas such as General Convention work schedule, citizenship bill, coronavirus, including others. Chantyal was elected as NC lawmaker via proportional representation in 2017. She died yesterday while undergoing treatment at Shahid Gangalal National Heart Centre. And now the news from Economic Front. Many small-scale industries are operating in Nepal without any form of registration. These small-scale entrepreneurs complain that the complex criteria and standards set by the government is making it difficult for them to register their business. The small-scale entrepreneurs have informed that the small-scale entrepreneurs have informed the MPs that many of their industries are running without a registration because of the unnecessary criteria set up by the government. During a meeting of the Industry, Commerce, Labour and Consumer Protection Committee of the Lower House of the Federal Parliament yesterday, the industrialist informed the MPs that many of their industries are operating without registrations or renewals. On one hand, the industries with license and registrations after their initial operation are not renewed. On the other hand, double taxation by the local levels is also not encouraging renewals. Almost 80% of the steel and grill industries are operating without any form of registration. The industrialists say that if the registration process is made simpler in the sector, which has provided employment to hundreds of people, the problem of unregistered businesses will be resolved quickly. The taxation scheme on the salaries of the workforce and treatment of the large and small-scale industries in the same policy bracket has discouraged registration. The industrialists who have been advocating for the use of homegrown products have asked the government to rethink the renewal and registration cost for their industries. The industries have demanded for a clear demarcation of criteria and policies with regards to the operation of the small-scale industries. We'll be taking a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international and sports news. Welcome back, and now the international news. Russians have opened the door to Vladimir Putin staying in power until 2036 by voting overwhelmingly for constitutional changes that will allow him to run again for president twice, Reuters reported. Official results after 98% of ballots had been counted showed that the former KGB officer had easily won the right to run for 2 more 6-year terms after the current one ends in 2024. That means Putin, 67, could rule until the age of 83. Putin has already ruled Russia for more than 2 decades as president to prime minister. The Central Election Commission said 78% of the votes counted across the world's largest country had supported changing the constitution. Just over 21% had voted against. Opposition politician Alexei Navalny called the vote an illegitimate and illegal show designed to legalize Putin's presidency for life. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has dismissed allegations that Russia offered bounties for killing US troops in Afghanistan as fake news. According to the Associated Press, Trump tweeted Wednesday that the allegations were made up to damage him and the Republican Party. Democrats have accused Trump of bowing to Russian President Vladimir Putin. Meanwhile, some of Trump's Republican allies have reportedly urged him to ditch his divisive messaging and outline a clear vision for a second term. According to Reuters, they fear his handling of a series of crises has dimmed his re-election hopes. With 4 months to go before he faces Democrat Joe Biden in November 3 US election, Trump's opinion poll numbers have shrunk as he struggles to manage the coronavirus pandemic, economic woes and protest over racial injustice. Speaking on conditions of anonymity, allies said Trump was often his own worst enemy. You're watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. West Ham crashed Chelsea's dream of climbing to top 3 and securing a position in Champions League next season as they defeated Chelsea 3-2 in an eventful London derby. The Hammers have also managed to give their survival hopes in the Premier League a huge boost. Andriy Yarmolenko came off the bench to score a dramatic goal for the Hammers to snatch all 3 points against their London rivals just a minute before the stoppage time. That goal sealed just the 3rd win of David Moyes' second tenure at West Ham and lifts the Hammers 3 points above the relegation zone with 6 games remaining, Sky Sports reported. Both goals for Chelsea came from their Brazilian striker Willian via a penalty on 42nd minute and from a superb free kick on the 72nd minute. Meanwhile, third-placed Leicester City also failed to widen point gap with Chelsea losing 2-1 to Everton. Arsenal settled for a comfortable victory against Norwich City, netting 4-0 that lifted the Gunners to 7th place at the Premier League table. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin, and the headlines once again. ANCP Standing Committee meeting postponed. Leaders unable to discuss new agendas due to standoff. Prime Minister holds a meeting with close allies, charts out future strategy following demand for resignation. Protest against MCC continues. Protesters demand waiver of house rent during lockdown. Russian President Putin likely to rule for the next 16 years. Russians back a constitutional reform in landslide vote. And West Ham grabs vital 3 points in the fight against a relegation, defeats Chelsea 3-2 amid VAR controversy. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms. including on our website at JanataSamachar.com. We urge all our viewers to follow government directives of the lockdown and follow healthy hygienic practices to keep safe from any infections. Keep washing your hands, keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.